What's going on, guys? It's Tom with Talks and Wrestling. Bound for Glory 2020 was last night. If you want to see my thoughts on the entire show, I've already uploaded the video. You can check that video out where I give my thoughts on the show, talk about all the results, my highlights, and what I thought of the show. But just for a quick too long didn't read, I really enjoyed the show top to bottom. Thought every match was good. Thought there was one very questionable result, which we will talk about in this video yet again. But in this video, as the title says, we're going to be discussing and talking about every return that took place at Bound for Glory 2020 last night, and also talk about some people who I could see returning soon and could see debuting soon, possibly as well. Well, we'll get on to that though. Before we get into it, I'd like to thank my Patreon backers. Check out my Patreon, links down below, exclusive content, all that jazz coming out on there. You know how it is, check it out. Would really help me during these trying times. We're back in lockdown now, so would really help me. And yeah, would just be really appreciated. But I'm gonna stop wasting time. Let's get into this video.
Greetings and salutations. This is Almighty Christopher Daniels, sometimes known as the Fallen Angel, but always known as the greatest wrestler in the world. Your mom's favorite wrestler, your dad's favorite wrestler, the world's favorite wrestler. I'm also a paragon of virtue, an inspiration to children everywhere, and the man with the rear that makes the girls cheer. And while you're watching me, I'm telling you, you're also watching Top 10 Wrestling, so congratulations.
So the first return that we saw at Impact Bound for Glory 2020 was Davari, who entered at number 2 on the Call Your Shot gauntlet. Now, he was called Davari and not Sheikh Abdul Bashir, which is what he was known as when he actually used to wrestle for TNA. Of course, he's a former X Division champion, and I've got the feeling they called him Davari for this time because, well, when Sheikh Abdul Bashir was wrestling in TNA, he had a theme song that was literally just a plane crash, and it was terribly insensitive, so that's probably the reason why they've kind of disassociated him from the Sheikh Abdul Bashir moniker and put him as his real name as Davari. He didn't really do much in the match, didn't get any eliminations, and to my belief he was eliminated by Brian Myers. Another return we saw in the Call Your Shot gauntlet was Swoggle, or you might know him as Hornswoggle from WWE, the Leprechaun with Finley, the anonymous Raw GM, Vince McMahon's son, and overall just the wrestler that WWE ruined every single angle with. Also a former member of D-Generation X. But yeah, Swoggle was actually in the Call Your Shot gauntlet last year. He actually had quite a long run in that match, had some interactions with Jordan Grace and Madman Fulton and all the people in that match, and he was indeed in this match. He even scored an elimination, technically. Him and Brian Myers used each other to get an elimination. I believe actually eliminating Davari, come to think of it now. Might be wrong though. And then after that, Brian Myers obviously betrayed him and threw Hornswoggle out the match. But Swoggle did come in later and hit a mini Doomsday device along with Tommy Dreamer onto Brian Myers, so he got his revenge back on Brian Myers. Then no doubt the biggest return at Impact Bound for Glory 2020, also taking place in the Call Your Shot gauntlet, the Cowboy, James Storm. A TNA original, a TNA tag team specialist along with Chris Harris in America's Most Wanted and Robert Roode in Beer Money, as well as a former world champion, though we don't talk about that. James Storm, undoubtedly one of the all-time greats in TNA/Impact Wrestling, and it was really surprising to see him here in Impact again. Who knows if this is just a one-off appearance or whether he's actually going to continue with Impact. I'll be very interested to see. We'll see how it goes though. But James Storm came in, so awesome to see him. He got an elimination or two, I believe, and made it all the way to the final 4 before he was eliminated by Sami Callihan. But I was live streaming during this match and I was watching it, reacting to it. When James Storm came out, I was like, oh, I barely reacted to it because I was so caught off guard. The chat in my stream started going crazy. James Storm, we all love James Storm. Like, every TNA Impact fan loves James Storm, and it was so great to see him in this match. For our next return, we actually had like a character make her return, not as opposed to a wrestler who's been gone for a few years, but actually a character with Su Yung making her return as a character to Impact Wrestling. Originally, we were meant to see Deonna Purrazzo versus Cardi Ray, which I was very excited for and was probably going to be match of the night, but Cardi Ray ended up not coming out after her entrance music hit. It's not really been explained, but from what I heard, she had some sort of injury. So in the end, Su Yung came out, the Undead Bride. She's obviously been playing the Susie character recently, who Deonna Purrazzo broke her arm. So Su Yung came out for vengeance, and like I said, very questionable decision here. She won the title. Her winning isn't questionable, by the way. Deonna Purrazzo losing is very questionable. I disagree with it entirely. But it was a really good match. Deonna Purrazzo is incredible. So is Su Yung. Deonna Purrazzo is just top of her game though right now, and I can't believe she lost. I'm about to go on another angry rant. Like, don't get me started on this, man. But yeah, Su Yung is back. And the final return we saw at Bound for Glory was the announcement of the TNA or Impact Knockouts Tag Titles making their return. Finally, we're going to have new champions for that, and Eric Young and ODB are not going to be the final champions. In fact, that could happen, because Eric Young's there, and ODB could come back. They could reunite. Oh my god, I just thought about that. But yeah, Knockouts Tag Titles back. Impact, do the right thing. Give these to Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly as an apology for making her lose. Oh, yeah, you got me started again. I'm about to go on a rant again. So before we end the video, I'm going to talk about some debuts and returns I'm surprised that we didn't see, and some in the future that I think we could see. Starting off with Matt Cardona. Now that his AEW deal kind of ended and it doesn't seem like he's going back, I thought Impact was like the perfect destination for him now that, you know, Brian Myers is there, EC3 is there, Eric Young's there, a lot of the former WWE talent are there, Deonna Purrazzo of course, how could I forget? I was really expecting Matt Cardona to maybe debut in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, maybe align himself with Brian Myers, or because Brian Myers was really dominant in that match, maybe he was the one who eliminated Brian Myers in the end or something like that. You know, I really expected him to debut, he didn't. Could still see it happening in the near future though. Next up, I was really expecting Curtis Axel to debut. I don't know why, I just really felt like Curtis Axel was going to debut. I haven't really heard anything from him whatsoever of where he's going, like no news has came out about him. But I think Impact is someone that really could suit him, and for some reason I was just really expecting him to debut and he didn't. Another return I was expecting that we didn't get was the returns of Mike and Maria Caneles, or Mike Bennett, purely because they left WWE recently, and of course they are former Impact talent. I mean, Mike's a former X Division champion, Maria's a former Knockouts champion. This was something I was really expecting to see, but from what I know, they're wrestling for UWN, so maybe there's some sort of contractual obligation there. But in the near future, I would not be surprised to see these two return. Another women's return I think we could see in the near future is the underdog of the Knockouts division, Taylor Wilde. With the announcement of the Knockouts tag titles making a comeback, this was something I was low-key kind of expecting to see her come back soon. She was the first ever TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champion along with Sarita, whom also I think could be coming back soon because she recently left WWE as well. So maybe Taylor Wilde and Sarita can make their reunion. That's something I could see happening. And then also, of course, Cardi Ray will be returning sometime soon. Hopefully, at least she will be. I hope nothing there has happened. But I do expect to hopefully see Cardi Ray back in Impact and hopefully having a banging match with Deonna Purrazzo like we were all hoping her to. But anyway, that's it for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, then be sure to smack that like button, subscribe, notifications on for more Impact and TNA coverage and wrestling coverage as a whole. Follow me on Twitter, Top 10 Wrestling is my @ Instagram @ I'm Tom Bell. My podcast, Patreon are both top link in the description. See you all soon, goodbye, and keep on rolling.